Attention listeners, this podcast is rated R. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey Lit Talkers, welcome to episode 5, where we're going to give you our first reading update of 2024. I'm Cassie.
I'm Holly.
I'm Tarah.
And I'm Jenn.
So what's everybody reading?
The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James.
I'm so excited.
I'm reading A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas.
Yes! I am reading The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black.
And I am reading Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I'm going to kick us off with my reading update for 2024. I have read I have not read. I have not read 100 books.
Do you breathe? Talk about an overachiever.
No, I read 16 out of my 120 goal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm actually really excited about it. I am currently about 5 books ahead of schedule per Goodreads. I don't know how accurate that is. I wish I would have set a lower goal.
Yeah.
I feel a little pressured because not that I pressure myself, which if I don't meet it, I don't mean it. But my girls start softball coming up, and I'm going to be super freaking busy. And reading's probably going to be very not able to read. But I am trekking down that way. I feel like I could have been a little bit more lenient on myself with the reading goal, but I love a good challenge. So we'll see where the year takes me. I did read one of my non-negotiables that we talked about, and I read 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo.
Ooh. Did you read the second one?
I did not.
Okay, are you gonna read the second one?
That's a really good question.
Because I know that you weren't gonna read her other series because you felt like, you felt like there was some iffy things, and do you feel like this one rubbed you the same way?
So I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
But for being a 600-page book, or I think it's like 500 pages and some odd change, I hate that it takes 300 pages for me to like it.
Yeah.
It was a solid 3 star until the last about 100 pages, and then it's just like it engulfed me. Well, see, I'm a big DNFer, but I bought the audio. I did it physical and I did it on audio, so I did both. And the physical I went back and forth with, but the audio was a full cast.
Oh, that's nice. That's a game changer.
It has one of my favorite narrators.
Do you think if you had only done
physical, would I have finished it? No. I mean, just being honest. I did like the full cast as one of my favorite narrators, who is Elizabeth Evans, and she is the one that narrates all Sarah J. Maas's books.
Okay. I
literally heard her voice Nina, and I was like, that's the girl who does Sarah J. Maas's books. I love her voice. I'm actually listening and physically reading Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and it's Elizabeth Evans that does it, and she's just fantastic. So it was a full cast, which I really enjoyed. The male characters for that one was fantastic. I did read it on 2 different forms. I read it physical and audio, so I went back and forth. Like if I could read it audio, I did while cooking or cleaning or whatever. But if I had to sit down, I was reading it with my headphones on and tabbing it and annotating it. So I'm unsure if I'm going to finish it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but I am not a person who has to finish series.
Yeah.
But the gist of that book is it is a group of 6 dangerous outcasts bound together on an impossible heist. So I really love the found family of it. I love the multiple POV. I love the really light romance and the LGBTQ plus rep in it. But everything else was, I loved the last 100 pages. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it flew. I thought that was the best writing style of Leigh Bardugo. The first half was just a lot of info dump, and it was a lot of, do we need to know this? And could you have not put so much filler? I know we need to know all these 6 people's backstories, but expand it a little.
Do you feel like it would have been more helpful if there were more books in the series?
I don't know if I would have read more books.
Okay.
I just think Leigh Bardugo's writing, while it's not, and this is a cult favorite. This is one that has 4 points, 4 on Goodreads. There's so many people that love it and rate it and they devour it. I was just not one of those people. I rated it 4 out of 5, and that's really good. But for me, it was okay. I love the last 100 pages, and that's why I rated it that way, because I was very torn between 3 and 4. And I could have gone 3.5. So really, realistically, I read it about a week and a half ago. It's probably a 3.5 for me.
Yeah.
And it's average. I don't think I'm going to read Crooked Kingdom just because I know kind of how it ends because book talk ruins everything. It does leave on a cliffhanger, but it's not like one that I'm like, oh my God, I've got to read the next one. It wasn't anything major. Like, I was like,
I feel that.
oh, okay.
Sometimes
cool.
I almost need a book to end on a cliffhanger for me to keep reading it. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, like The Wicked King, if it would have just wrapped up, I wouldn't have needed The Queen of Nothing. So, like, I definitely appreciated that.
I get why people like this book.
Yeah.
I love everything I love the idea.
Yeah.
I did not like the execution. So, yeah, I said it 4 out of 5. I think I am going to go back. I am going to change it. I'm a 3.5 girly. On this book. And I don't think I'm going to read Crooked Kingdom. I'm not going to do it. I love the full cast and the audio.
So I can take mine to Half Price Books?
You can.
Okay.
I'm taking mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate that I wasted my credit on Audible. And we can talk about Audible in a different podcast because I hate how they only do one fucking credit. It pisses me off.
It does. We pay way
too much for one credit.
Ridiculous.
It's stupid. The only reason I got Audible is because they did that 4 months for $4.99 or $5.99, and that's really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I'm probably gonna cancel it after 4 months. To be honest, I got Audible because of Queen and Shadows and the rest of Sarah J. Maas's books. Yeah. And I wasted my freaking credit on this one instead of a Sarah J. Maas book, and I had to buy Queen of Shadows for like $6.99. And then I'm like, damn it, man! I don't really like Six of Crows, and you can't return them. They can't be like, well, you didn't like it, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. But no, I don't think I'm going to continue, and I am going to put down my rating as a 3.5 now because I think talking about it, that book really pissed me off.
And you don't usually change ratings very much.
I don't. But my mindset is like, if it takes me that long to get into a freaking book, is it even worth the read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
No,
well, I'm glad that we helped you come to a definitive decision.
Yeah,
in writing. It's in the book. Y'all.
Yeah, I even marked out my 4. I think that this is going to hit a lot of people because of the found family trope and the, the group of outcasts. I love that because my favorite Christmas movie is the Island of the Misfits, the Misfit Toys. Yeah. So I thought that was going to be, I thought this was really going to be a 5-star, and it was just. I'm so disappointed.
I like the Christmas movie with the heat miser.
I'm Mr. Heat Miser.
I'm Mr. 100 Degrees. Okay. Anyways, guys.
This is my favorite.
You're welcome.
Santa Claus is coming to
We're going to start a Lit Talkers choir.
Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want this.
Just catch us at karaoke next time. It'll
Album
be great.
drop in 2025, guys.
Oh, man.
So I had set a goal of 90 books this year. I don't think that I'm struggling yet, but I definitely slow down towards the end of the year. Things get busier at work. Things get busier in my life. So
holidays.
I mean, holidays, just family. It's crazy. So I don't know. I'm currently on track according to Goodreads. I need to read like 1.5 books a week, which I can read 1.5 books a week. I've read like 2 this week. But don't look at me like that, y'all. I can.
I believe in you.
So I've read 8
told her
books.
I believed in her earlier. When she texted me, she was like, can I just lay here and listen to this book? And I was like, yes, queen, you can.
Just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I cleaned a me-size hole in my kid's room while I listened to an audiobook this morning. I am doing all the things, guys.
I told her, she said, I'm going to take it as an accomplishment that I can just lay down. I said, well, you're a tall bitch, so that means you must have done a good amount of work to be able to lay down.
She's not one of us short people.
I need validation, so I definitely go to my peeps for that.
She's not one of you little peons.
So I read 8 books this year, and 2 of those books are technically on my non-negotiables. So I had said that I was going to read the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I have finished Cruel Prince, finally. And the second one, The Wicked King, both by Holly Black, in record-breaking time, about 3 days apiece on audio. And I started Queen of Nothing today, the second that I finished the second one. And I have like 900 other books borrowed right now on Libby, and I don't really give a shit about
You're
them.
going to hate me. I forgot to tell you. There's a little novella.
Mother.
I'm so sorry. It's on Libby. It's called The Lost Sisters. And it is Taryn's point of view.
Fuck that bitch.
We don't want to spoil it, but it's Taryn's point of view from The Cruel Prince. And honestly, it's a really good read. It really is. I'm not going to lie to you.
Her eyes are basically rolling in her
Oh,
head.
they are.
She's probably going to be so
They're
pissed.
So
switching.
look, guys, I don't have sisters, okay? I have 2 younger brothers. One of them is almost 30 and the other one's almost 18. And I have never seen this level of scheming and cattiness as I have between sisters in this damn book, in these books.
Oh, it's
But
terrible.
they were raised with the Fae.
And I
and the
understand
Fae
that.
are
And they
cunning
were raised
And
by Maddox, who is a madman. But I don't. It happens in so many other books. Like even that novella, I was like, look, what the fuck is going on? Like I would never in a million years talk to my sister or my brothers that way, and so it throws me off. But I don't have sisters.
I have never wanted a sister. Ever.
No.
I have
Fuck those bitches.
I have a sister, and I will say, being 16, 'cause that's what they
Yeah.
are.
Mhm.
I think, are they twins?
Yeah,
They
they're
are twins, right?
Yeah.
It's been a minute. So, at
Time for a
16,
reread.
you know what? I might have talked to Courtney that way.
Girls are just so cutthroat. Like my brothers.
I don't know.
went to,
My
like,
brothers and I just
physically
hit
hurt
each
me.
Yeah.
other.
I
Yeah.
think they went to
Taryn
mentally hurt
did-
me. I think there's a
Taryn
difference.
definitely did more bad.
Oh, 100%. Because Jude loves her sister.
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, Jude made a couple moves that were maybe a little risky, but like
She is.
Taryn is just a backstabbing bitch. Kind of hope she dies. I'm
Tell
sure
me how you
she's
really
listen.
feel.
I'm sure that she doesn't. And honestly, for Jude's
Spoiler.
sake, I wouldn't want her to because that would really hurt Jude. But also, like, she deserves whatever the hell's coming to her.
Read the point of view, please, of the Lost Sisters and let me know.
I'm still gonna have these feelings. I'm valid. So I have loved it.
Squeeze me.
So
It
is
is-
the point of view from that person that you hate? I'm just curious.
No.
Oh.
It's Jude's
Now, the
point of
Lost
view.
Sister,
that's
the
good.
novella it's from the sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just can't believe that nobody told me
I'm sorry.
that there was another one. You told me that I could stay with the rest of them.
It's like 2 hours on audio. You got this.
Can I get the audio?
Yes, it's on Hoopla
okay.
or Libby.
Hold on, let me go get it. Anyways, I'll finish first. So
Yeah, don't get distracted. We'll be
So-
here another 5 minutes.
for those of you guys that don't know, The Cruel Prince is YA fantasy, and it follows Jude's story. She was taken from the human world and raised by Maddox, who we mentioned a few minutes ago, who is just a crazy power-hungry general. She and her twin sister are mortals, and her stepsister, or her half-sister, Vivi, is part Fae. So there's a whole storyline that goes on with the two of them. There's a lot of bickering, and then, of course, there is Carden, who is the other main character, and he
Yes.
is a Prince of Fairy. The banter is great. The true enemies to lovers.
True.
Every time I think that I know where something's going to go, or I think that I have something, I'm like, fuck, what the hell? Why do I even try? So I have texted all my theories to Jenn. She is being kind enough to not tell me if they are correct or not.
I am a girl's girl.
Can I tell you who's not a girl's girl? Can I interrupt for a second and say that Cassie spoiled a book
Oh
that
my
we
God.
were reading?
Stop.
And it made me like,
I didn't mean to.
okay, so I'm not going to say what book it is, but it's a book that Cassie had just read, and she's like, you should read it. Blah, blah, blah."
Oh, is it the Fury?
The Fury.
Yes.
Fury. Okay.
Yeah.
So for
By
anybody
Alex
who's going to read
Michadellies.
this, I guess I don't want to say the spoiler, but I
Don't say the
basically
spoiler.
I basically said
I accidentally
I'm at,
spoiled it.
I'm at this point and this just happened. She goes, or did it? And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck did
So-
you just? So I literally, let me see if I can find my
I really
review.
didn't enjoy the book. And I know that it was one that
We're talking about the
Fury by Alex
Okay,
Michadellies.
yeah.
Okay, I said good story, lots of twists and turns, love the Greek references and touches. Was partly spoiled for me, sad face. 4 stars.
I did not do it
Cassie gave
intentionally.
it a 2-star.
3.
Oh, so it's average.
I might have
It's
given
average.
it.
Yeah.
I might have given it 5 if this bitch wasn't like.
I don't
Because
think
I saw
you.
it coming.
I don't
I
think you
saw
would
one of
have.
the twists coming.
I can't believe that you didn't see it coming to begin with. That whole
Okay.
book was laid out right there.
For the fucking
Wow.
Molly.
Okay.
No, I'm not
I'm about to take your mic and whack you in the face. You're gonna need your glasses adjusted after this one, bitch. I'm gonna get violent.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean,
You sure did.
Here's the thing about Cassie. Here's the thing
You
about
sure did.
Cassie. Cassie is so ADHD, and we talked about this. Where
Yes, we have.
Cassie is so ADHD that she is constantly going, okay, what's going to happen next? Okay, what's going to happen
Yeah.
next?
Oh, yeah.
But I like to sit there and enjoy it. I
Yeah,
read a
no.
lot of thrillers and mysteries, and never once am I like, oh my God, I bet this person did it. I bet this person did
Yeah.
it. Like, I have ideas kind of floating around in my noggin,
No.
but I also don't want to spoil it for myself.
See, I feel like that's why I binge books though. Because I'm like, is what I'm thinking gonna happen?
Yeah.
And I have to get here.
I just want-
have to get
Yeah.
to see if what I think happens. Because if I don't, I'm just gonna die.
I just want to enjoy the story. I don't
Not
want to
me.
think about it too much. Like, I don't want something to take me out of it. I just want to go with it. That's why I like going into books blind.
So you want to be like a fly on the wall
Yeah,
instead of being like
exactly.
all up in the groove and be like, what happened?
Right,
You just
I'm
want to
not-
be like, what's up, guys?
I'm not the detective.
Yeah.
That's not who I am in this story.
I
I am just the
wonder-
viewer.
I wonder if that's why you maybe don't enjoy fantasy as much.
Ooh.
Because a lot of fantasy, I think it makes you think about theories and it makes you come up with stuff as you're reading.
Certain fantasy, yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
You know, especially political fantasies because there's so
Oh, yeah,
many
yeah.
chess pieces and like
Ugh, I
games
hate
being
chess.
played. But I think that that's maybe why you don't enjoy a lot of fantasies is because there is too much of that thinking forward and you don't feel like you can stay in the story.
Holly doesn't like fantasy because it's too much thinking.
I know.
So fantasy is complex.
mean
It's world
that.
building and it's everything. If you're not one that says, "Oh,
I mean
you
it
need
more
to know,"
so like you can't get
fantasy
into
is
it
like-
and enjoy it.
they tell you
Right.
what the tree
It's
is
too much work.
from way out there. Sarah J. Maas especially is like, let's bring it all the way around. 360. You're spinning 360. I'm explaining every single part of that 360.
Yeah.
In 200 pages.
That kind
and then
of-
it's a plot.
I have a book about that, but we'll save that for later.
Okay,
We'll save that
perfect.
for later.
Love
But
that
anyway, Cassie's not a girl's girl because she spoiled the book for me and she made me
Well, Jennifer
made me
is.
put it at a
I did
lower
not
star.
mean to. I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
I,
but it's okay.
I really am. I'm awful. Don't talk to me about
No,
books.
because when I called her out, she's like, "It's because you're stupid. You should have known.
I absolutely
It's not
did
my fault. You're a freaking idiot.
I didn't do
It's not my
any
fault.
of
I'm
those
smarter than
things.
you. Okay. Anyway,
I
I'm
promise.
done.
I did not do any of those things.
Whatever. You heard her. You heard her.
Anyways, if you're into YA fantasy, go read The Cruel Prince. Now, Holly can talk about the books that she's read,
Okay.
but she's not prepared because she's too busy picking on me.
No, I'm not. I'm just speaking the truth. I only speak
Did
the
you
truth.
really call her stupid though in your guys' group?
No,
or in the
no, I'm saying
text
she
message?
just
I
called me
did
stupid
not
right
call her
now.
stupid.
I'm just
She
being.
said, just wait and go back and re-listen.
I'm
No.
just being dramatic. I'm just being dramatic. It's fine. Okay, so so far this year I have read 12 books. And my reading goal was 45. So I think Goodreads says that I need to read like half a book per week every year.
I don't
which-
even think it's half a book
Every
year.
Every single year.
I think
it's
you
half
need
a
to
book.
read like don't
Don't
half a
worry
book
about
every
it.
month.
Just don't finish any
it
of them.
said
Just
half
read
a book
half.
per week. Half a book per week. And I mean, we just read Legends and Lattes, and I finished that within like a 24-hour span.
good, yeah.
There's been a couple books where I've finished pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to be on track. I'm not going to extend my goal until I get there. I'm not going to say like, oh, right now, because I read 8 books in January and I've read 4 books this month and it's only the 6th of the month. I'm not going to go, oh my God, I'm going to read 70 books. Because what happens if I have a month where I'm traveling or on vacation or doing something, or like the new Love is Blind season comes out and I'm busy watching that instead of reading. So
Do you
And
have
that's
a-
okay. That's,
when you
that's okay.
When you reach that 45, do you know what you think you want to push it to? Have you
I would
thought
probably
about
push
that?
it to like 60.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
would, because I think that's what I did last year. Is I did 20 or 25, and then I pushed it to like 30 or 35. So I just pushed it like 10 or 15, and
Yeah.
then I just keep going from there. So
I'm really excited to see where you go.
thank you. Me too. So my non-negotiable that I read was Jones 1963 by Devin Cabrerra, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I have a little book journal that I write all my stuff in, and it says to describe this book in 3 words. And I wrote bloody, vengeance, devil. So, which Devin, he found where I talked about Welcome to Nightmare Island on our last podcast. And or I guess 3 episodes ago or something.
Yeah.
And he took a snippet from it and posted it on all his social media. And it just made me geek out like a
You
little
were
girl.
geeking hard.
Yeah. It was really great.
I'm mean, like
I
voice
went-
messages. You were sending like screenshots.
It was awful because it was like 9:30 and I had to work so early and I was getting into bedtime mode and we were talking on our group chat and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, and I just went crazy. So Devin, if you're listening to this, I really appreciate you reaching out and thanking me for reading the book because I thank you for writing amazing things that make me get into reading. So, and like I said, Welcome to Nightmare was so special. Welcome to Nightmare Island was real special to me. So this one was really fun. It was a novella, so it was bloody, action-packed. If you don't like gore, probably don't listen for the next second. But I did take some snippets out of this one. Okay, the girls are covering their ears.
I'm not.
I should have known Cassie was like this because we went to go see Thanksgiving recently.
I love that
we
movie.
love
Oh my
horror
God,
movies.
yes.
And I went to go see it with
was so
Cassie and
good.
some other friends. And I didn't warn Cassie that it was an Eli Roth movie.
You
And
just
he's
have to
done-
warn me. I
he's
don't
done,
mind it.
Like Hostel. So he does like really serious like torture. And then he did Green Inferno, which is like bloody cannibalism. That one's
I have no idea.
Oh, that
You're
movie's
looking at me
crazy.
and making eye contact. I'm over here like,
It's
this
just
is where
you're
my
across
brain
from me.
goes.
so anyway, Cassie doesn't like blood and gore. When we went to go see Thanksgiving and they're like breaking arms and
Look, that was one of my favorite, like,
That beginning
slasher movies
scene?
that have come out. It was so good.
oh, I loved it. I'm over here like giggling and Cassie's like, oh my God. And she's covering her eyes. and she's
hiding
looking
in my
and-
shirt. I don't mind going to see them because there is still like that thriller aspect and I don't mind that part of it. I can do jump scares. I like movies that make me think, but the blood and gore is just too much for me and I need advance warning so that I can wear attire that can cover my face during those scenes. And so when I don't have advance warning, it can be very jarring.
You just need to get a security blanket for her and take it with the movies every time you
That's-
invite
yeah,
her.
I
That's-
guess so. But yeah, so here's a highlight that I put. So he grabbed the tip of his tongue and shoved the tines of a fork through it as far as it could go.
Absolute fuck.
Blood began to pour from his mouth and he tried to scream, but screaming only caused his tongue muscles to move, which put him in even more pain. The fork sticking out of it made so that he couldn't pull his tongue back into his mouth, so he was forced to keep his tongue sticking out like an 8-year-old kid. And that was just really happy.
That is grand.
And then, so another one where he's like,
What 8-year-olds does he hang out with?
well, like you like have to like,
no, he like forced the tongue to be like this all the time.
and he was his
Oh,
so the whole
God, no.
story,
By a fork.
let me backtrack a little bit. The whole story is that Jones Jepson is he's kind of a sweet boy and he's in his senior year of high school and he has a girlfriend. His family's really awful.
It's
to him.
always the sweet ones you have to worry about.
Yeah, his brother got killed in the war and his parents like don't give a shit about him anymore. And so he's kind of the forgotten child. And he goes to sign up for the war to go to Vietnam and he thinks his family's going to be proud and his girlfriend's going to be proud. And then his dad ends up just like trying to beat the shit out of him. And his girlfriend, he goes over to her house once he gets kicked out and finds out she's cheating on him with one of his biggest bullies who's bullied him from day one. And then these bullies, not only like does the girlfriend cheat on him with one of them, at his graduation, they like pull off his gown and he's
So like
naked.
a Carrie.
Yes, so he's naked in front of everybody and then they like put flour on him or something. So like they publicly humiliate him and then he's like, I'm over this. So you kind of want to cheer him on because he's just getting back at all his bullies. He's not just some random guy who's going around and killing people for fun.
So did he put the fork through the main bully's tongue,
I think
or was it
one
just a
of the bullies.
sidekick?
There were like where there was one girl, and 2 boy bullies, and then he
What'd he do
also
to the
killed
girl?
his girlfriend.
What did he do to the girl?
So that's not so important, but his
Oh, okay,
girlfriend,
sorry.
his girlfriend, he does like he thinks she's gonna be like he basically confronts her about cheating, and she is like, "I'm done with you" or whatever. And then she sees that he's kind of going crazy, so she tries to act like it's cool, but then she starts running away and he chases after her and they're at a carnival and they go into a mirror maze.
Nope.
And so he kills her in this mirror
This
maze.
is my husband's worst nightmare.
And here's
guys.
here's another part. So while they're in the mirror maze, he has this mallet. That's his like from one of those games where you put the mallet and the thing goes up.
Yeah,
so
I
that's his
gotcha.
like weapon of choice. So he takes this mallet and he's like crushing all the mirrors. And then he takes one of them and slices off part of her leg.
Shut the fuck up.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
So
no.
I added a note to this because it said The rest drove deeper into her calf and sliced the bottom part of her leg right off. She was crawling on all fours, well, 3.5s, trying to get away.
Okay,
I put a
love
note that said LOL. So, and then there's a part about how once he puts the fork, he's going through all the other utensils and just decides to take a spoon and spoon out his eyeballs and puts them in the egg carton for his parents to find.
Oh, goodness.
He's killing everybody out here. And then at the end, he almost dies before he gets to the last kid, but he makes a deal with the devil.
He
and
he almost dies by.
He almost dies, like, because I think he gets shot, or I can't remember. But he's, like, at the end of his rope, and he's like, please, God, don't kill me until I get to the last one. And he's like, if God isn't listening, I know I'm not going to heaven, so devil, help me out. And he basically, like, becomes a semi-devil and then kills the last boy and his entire family. And then
Why did he? Oh, because his dad.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
okay.
no, he kills the boy and his parents. Like, he kills people. Anybody who's in his way, he's done. Jones Jepson is like, I'm going to kill everybody in this bitch. He kills, like, sisters, brothers, mothers,
God.
fathers. He's just done with the whole thing. Sorry, y'all. This is a total spoiler. And then at the very end, his last words when he's in the electric chair, because they catch him, it says, like, I'll be back. So he's...
And that's the prequel to Nightmare Island.
to Welcome to Nightmare
Okay.
Island. So
Is Welcome to Nightmare Island as bloody?
No.
Okay.
No, I think that one's more spooky. This
Because
one
I'm
was
willing to read
definitely-
spooky. I'm
This
not
one was
willing to
definitely
read gory.
like Quentin Tarantino in a book.
I
And I
love
just
that for
really
you.
love that. It was great. I love the goriness. I love the 3.5s. I love when, like, dismembered legs just fall from bodies. It's great. I love it. That's great. So
Don't read this book, Jen.
that's it. Thanks,
I'm
Devin.
No, I'm
surprised
good.
for you all liking like fantasy so much, where there's so much like war and death in fantasy, and it talks about like people getting things cut off,
But
and you're like over here squeaming.
I think I disassociates fantasy because it's not real.
Yes.
And then when you have someone who just goes psycho because he's being bullied, and that's a really good, plot, and it's
Yeah.
relatable.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
we see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I
We
would like to
see
do that.
boys going.
Don't test me.
Who are your bullies? Don't look at me.
You literally called me stupid, so maybe
Okay, well-
you should watch your back.
But we have that every day in America.
spoons
We have
upstairs.
kids who go to school, get
In
bullied,
my
and turn out
house.
to be shitty people.
Yeah.
And that's not because, because they were raised shitty. That's because society made them shitty.
Circumstances.
And I think that's more realistic. Like when I watch horror movies, I can do like chupacabras and stuff, like stuff that's not real. You put like
Mothman.
you put like religion into it or anything like that, I'm out. I'm done. Or anything that's realistic, like anything like secluded or like cabin-ish that like people are out
like
in the woods.
strangers.
Nope,
yeah.
I'm good because like that shit can happen. No, I'm good. I'm
Well,
out.
I watch like one of Matt's favorite movie franchises is Saw. And so I've seen all the Saw movies more than I
That's
care
my
to
sister's
tell.
and my mom's.
I used to. Didn't used to bother me as a kid because I was just like, oh, this is fun and like crazy. And then it started to bother me a little bit more as an adult because I started to realize like, oh shit, people can really do this and this can happen and like this would be terrible. But now I read so much of it and I watch so much of it that I'm just like, it's so funny. He scooped his eyes out with a spoon, and now they're eggs.
She's been desensitized,
Love it.
ladies and gentlemen.
Love that for you,
Tara?
Tara.
All right.
Done.
Well, moving on from all that funness.
God, how heavy.
Here to lighten our load with my reading for the year. So I have read nine books this year, finished 9. I guess technically it could be 11 because I kind of read 2 twice, but it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Technically 9.
I think that counts.
9 different
it
stories.
does count. We need to update your Goodreads to have you read the Boys of
Because you
Hellman.
can, yeah.
Because I did the
You can-
Audible.
but you can mark
after
on there
I
that you have
did.
read it
Mark 'em,
twice.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll
I
teach
did
you.
Needless
We really-
Street twice
yeah.
and counted it
We
because
really
you're,
need to update that
you're
for you.
reading it twice. It doesn't matter if you've
Yeah.
read it before, you're reading it again.
There you
Yep.
Still counts.
So.
Yep.
You've read 11.
So I guess 11 technically. And yeah, so my goal doesn't even give me a thing anymore. It's just like you've read this out of this and you're like over 18% done or something. And so I think that means that I don't have to continue reading at any particular pace to meet my goal. which means that I'm probably going to meet it. But we'll see, because I'm very, like I said, I'm very much like a binger person, and I get like really into things. And then in like 2 months, I'm going to like fall off. It's kind of like my Animal Crossing. I don't think I've played Animal Crossing since I started reading. But then like I'm going to jump back into Animal Crossing at some point, and then everything else of my life is going to fall away. So
Get you a good pair of headphones and you can do both.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I do both. That's
Yeah.
why I do audiobooks. Like
I could.
I play Animal Crossing every single day. It's so stupid.
I want to
for like
play
years.
it. I need a Nintendo Switch.
You
yeah,
do.
but yeah, I
Come
listen to.
Come to our islands. We could be best friends. Oh my God, it'll be so fun.
I want
We've
one
done
now.
that. Me and Tarah and somebody else have had like a little
want
Animal
one.
Crossing shooting star party where we all put on our clothes and we go to the island and we all
That
like wish
sounds
on
so
stars.
fun.
Yeah,
And you can give each other little like confetti things or little glow sticks.
little head boppers.
Yes.
Little tickety boppers.
Little
I'm
star
getting
things.
one. Why?
Animal
Yes.
Crossing's great.
Okay, yeah.
We love it.
It's done.
So anyways, so we'll see. I think I will have to like move my book reading goal out a little bit.
Are you saying add more books to your goal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if I'm this far into it this soon, but I'm going to wait till about April and see how far I get
Yeah.
before I decide on like a number to push it to, because I'm definitely more like, I've got a lot of things planned this year that are like all coming up, and I'm like, oh, like none of these things it's not going to be like, oh, let me just sit and read, you know?
Right.
So we'll see. And then my non-negotiable that I read, which I'm so excited to get into and share
We are excited
even
for
more
you.
of my thoughts. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, recommended by the entire world of everybody who's read any type of fantasy, telling me what a great book it was, how awesome this book is.
Hey, to be fair, we warned you that the first one's not
Yes.
great.
No,
So it's
except for
not
you
from
two.
us.
I want to mention too that book. I don't know if you know that is a Beauty and the Beast retelling.
So I've learned this recently as I went digging to wonder why people enjoy this. So I'm going to start because, as I said earlier,
She has a lot to say, guys.
as I said earlier, I'm on the third book, okay?
Yes.
So
You're a binger.
I am a binger. And, you know, like I finished the second one the night before last. And all day throughout work, my mind was just like, I was like, I really
Was
need
it
to go get this
in-
book.
yeah.
Like, I went to the Kroger by my work to see if they sold books because I know that some of them do. And I was like, this one's so popular. If they do have books, it will be there. That Kroger doesn't sell books, but it's fine. That's how I spent my lunch. It's fine. And then I got off work and I was like, man, I can sit in traffic on this stupid busy street for 20 minutes, or I can go the back way out of the neighborhood, which leads me straight to Joseph Beth and buy the rest of the series. So that is what I ended up doing. So clearly I love something once we pass it. But we're here to talk about the
A Court of
non-negotiable.
Thorns and Roses.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
The first one in the Akatar series.
First one in the Akatar series.
Literally Akotar.
Yeah.
Akotar.
So,
Well, okay, so for a second, my only contribution is that for a long time I did not know it wasn't called Akotar. I was like, Akotar.
You really thought everyone was like, let's read Akatar and Akamat and Aka.
Well,
you
that's
really
how
thought
I
that?
started noticing because once people started going Akamath, Akasat,
Akabar.
yeah,
He's just a really bad rapper. Who's just like beatboxing on the
echo on echo on echo. No, once I started notice it was echo other things, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But how am I supposed to know? Anyway, carry
Have
on.
you time out? I'm sorry. Have you ever seen the commercial? I think it's the Reese's peanut butter cup where Ludacris is on there, but he's like, no. You ever seen that commercial?
Luda?
no.
Oh my god, that's what you just
But
sound like.
Ludacris is in a commercial and nobody told me. I'm really upset right now.
Yeah, his hair grows
Luda.
and everything. Yeah, but that's what you sound like. Keep going,
Okay.
Tara. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Side note.
Commercial break.
I'm just going to take us back to like,
Oh, she's
I
got
will
the
say
book
this.
out
Oh,
and
no.
everything.
She's getting the references.
Oh, yikes. Oh,
page 300 on is like fantastic. Okay. Like this last little quarter, like I actually decided that I was enjoying myself reading this and I was excited to see where the series would go. I was also hoping that Pharaoh actually died. I knew that she didn't because I've seen too many spoilers.
the series goes on. Sorry.
But-
Spoiler.
But I really wanted her just to be gone.
She's whiny.
She
Yeah.
is so whiny.
She's
So
whiny.
I
She's a
have
whiny little bitch.
like 3 big faults with this. My first one being that in the first like 45 pages of this book, you have this like young woman who is out here like trying to just protect her family and do everything from them, and she's kind of like the warrior, like the one who just sucks it up and deals with it and does what needs to
She
be
thinks
done.
she is.
Which is great. And then, you know, your big things kind of happen. I'm going to try not to spoil this too much for
Actar
anybody.
has been read by over 1 million people, so
So they should follow along.
Except
right?
for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil it
you're
too much
not-
for Holly.
I don't know if you'll.
So-
Do I need to go upstairs?
No, I'm just
No.
wondering. I don't think you'll enjoy it.
I don't
just
think
being
you will
honest.
either.
I don't think you're gonna enjoy
I love
it.
fantasy, and I rated this 3 stars.
Yeah.
I just
okay.
put it on my Goodreads as 3 stars.
And how
It
long
was
is
the
it?
worst rated
It's
for
like
me.
400
It's like 400 pages.
Oh, no.
410, 419.
No, thank you.
So-
And the last book she just wrote that was in the Actar series. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It's like 800 pages.
Yeah.
just FYI.
They
Keep
progressively
going.
get
Sorry.
longer. But then, so I guess I can spoil it a little bit because it basically tells you on the back, if you pick up the book, that, you know, she ends up having to go and leave and live in the Fae realm. And she's from the mortal realm, and she's a little mortal. And yes, I understand that those circumstances surrounding that were a little bit traumatizing, which was fine. But she basically spent her entire life trying to take care of her sisters. And then she gets there and they're like, she's like, oh, I'm scared and I'm worried about them. And he's Tamlin, who everybody hates, which we'll get into that in a little bit.
Man, I have a lot to say. But
So
okay, I'll keep it. You know.
they like I hate that, like, she was like, oh no, I must go back. And it's like, you literally left a world of poverty and stupid crap
For gold.
for
and riches.
gold and riches
Yep.
And a man who will
beautiful
not touch
place.
you without consent. What the
Yeah.
fuck else do you need?
Right? Like,
Yeah. I don't think I would have complained if I
like,
was
And
her.
you got
seriously.
a fox boy who's chef's kiss for
Yes.
him. What do
Lovely
you
shit.
need?
So, like, I just, and it didn't make sense to me. It
Apparently
didn't make
sisters,
sense to me.
but she thought they
I
were so
mean,
shitty.
Look, for me, and I'm sorry, girls, I love you. I really do. I love my sisters. But, like, if we were, like, starving and I was the one who had to feed y'all and y'all just sat there and didn't do nothing all day, every day, and then all of a sudden I get whisked away to a fairy world and you guys are now I'm being told you're well taken care of, you have riches and you're all fine and not hungry anymore, and I'm just over here living my own best life, like,
Because
bye, girls.
Tamlin takes care of her sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off. I think a lot of people don't remember that when they get into the Tamlin hate. They think Tamlin's so bad and you've seen it
Yeah.
because you read Akamath
Yeah.
and everything else. And I'm like, dude, Tamlin took care of Nesta
Oh,
and
yeah.
Elaine and the dad, and he did all of that
Yeah.
for Feyre.
Yeah.
Yeah, was he the villain maybe in her story? Sure. But like, you play up that villain in your own story in your own mind.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It's just how you perceive him.
And
Yeah.
she was kind of like salty about it all.
Yes.
And that's what
Constantly
made me,
trying to run away.
She just like wasn't grateful for it before he even did anything to cause her to have those reactions.
Yeah.
And it just really annoyed me how extensively whiny she was, because in your first few pages you're like, oh, this is going to be a badass woman, and then she just like, she wasn't.
No.
And
Not at all.
We are not Feyre lovers,
Nope.
by the way.
I just really, and I
nope.
still hate her. I can't wait till I can just read from somebody else's point of view, because
won't get it.
I hate her inner dialogue. I hate her. I dislike her with a passion. She's so stupid. She makes the stupidest decisions. She doesn't
So-
help anybody.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
I want to know if you thought her character development was super, like, crazy. I thought for Feyre, from going from a illiterate
Mm-hmm.
mortal
Yeah.
woman, human, whatever, and then she is. You've gotten to the part where she's,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Like
She's Fae right now.
yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then she's super powerful.
Yes.
And she's just almighty. And she's even better than Tamlin and Rhys, who are two of the most mighty Fae males in the whole fucking
But
world.
she's not really. She has no freaking control over it.
Okay, just wait.
Okay. Maybe I'm not that far. I didn't feel like in A
Pisses
Court
me
of
off.
Mist and Fury she had any real control. Like, she was kind of trying.
But they tell her
again,
that she's really powerful.
you
but
have to, like,
yeah.
goad it out of her because she's too much of a whiny, self-absorbed person to be like, oh, no, I don't need this. I don't need you all to tell me what to do. I don't need anybody to tell me. Well,
she's
you know
immature,
what?
too.
Like, I am all for, like, people being their own person. I'm not saying that, okay? Be your own person. And if you're in a really toxic relationship where you're getting told what to do all the darn time, like, okay, I get that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
But when you literally have the power to, like, kill everybody in your city and you're refusing to work on yourself to be able to control that, like, screw you. You're just selfish. That's all I can say.
I love this. I love this conversation. I think it's a conversation that is not held enough because they hold Feyre so high up, and they've made her and Rhys godlike, and there's so much wrong with them too.
Yeah.
And there's so much wrong with Rhys as well.
There is a lot wrong with him. He's just as bad as Tamlin. He might be a little bit better looking and have better reasoning for it than Tamlin does. But at the end of the day, they're both kind of toxic people. Now, I will say that I like Rhys's character better. I think his character is more playful and fun.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like, I just love those kind of dark entities. But, like, honestly, like,
it's the side
they
characters.
could both do better than Feyre.
It's a side character. So you are like me. I don't like the main dish, and I will eat all the sides.
Yes.
Cassian, Nesta.
Oh, Cassian is my favorite so far.
He's our favorite as well.
But we don't know who he is yet. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah. My other pet peeve. Oh, I just lost it. Fudge.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing, which I'm so glad has yet to come up in the other books. Maybe it's because the things don't work. But have you all actually counted the times that Feyre has basically, like, crapped herself?
Yes, bitch. Okay, every Sarah J.
My
Maas
bowels
book-
are watery. My bowels have turned to watery.
Listen.
And after the first one, I was like, oh, that's pretty believable. Like, kind of relatable if you're really scared.
Listen,
like, I
though.
could see that happening. And then it happens, like, every other chapter. Like, I swear I could open this page and I will find within 5
They've either
pages
been shitting or puking.
where she has, like, her bowels have turned watery. She doesn't
Look on Holly's
and that's
face.
literally
Disgusted.
that's literally in this book like 17 times. I thought about after I got halfway through going back and counting just how many times for this. But I couldn't bring myself to suffer through the first half of this again to count the amount of times. But it's so many that it made a noticeable difference.
It's almost like one of her friends was like, "Hey, you should write a best-selling book and you should talk about her shitting herself all the time, and people will
that's
still
what
love
I'm
it."
like, it kind of just goes with
is.
that.
It's
It
a
goes,
lot.
my bowels turned watery, and I'm like, so is she just running
Or
around
they puke
like
all the time.
pooping herself?
Stop.
I just want to point out that when I read ACOTAR, my review, I said that she also needs to write and think of characters that have stronger stomachs.
Yes.
Or her characters need to go see the healers for this constant vomiting. Because every 20 to 50 pages, they have vomited at least 5 times.
Yeah.
I just
And it's not just Feyre, it's
a lot of people.
It's all Sarah J. Maas's characters.
tell me about scooping out eyeballs and putting tongues.
No, I rather
with
hear
forks.
about vomiting, so maybe I
But I
won't
don't
bitch.
Let me
hear
talk about
poop
some
talk.
tongues for
I
a
don't like
second.
poop talk.
Because my third problem with this stupid book, and I'm sorry, and I'm not going to get too into it, okay? But it's a spicy scene. All right? There's a spicy scene in here.
Which book are we talking about?
ACOTAR,
There's a spicy scene in
the
it.
first one. Very, very, well, like, it's kind of faintly.
After the
It talks about how basically Tamlin likes to put his face at private places.
Oh yeah, I love that.
But here's the thing. He's got this stupid gold mask that's like made of metal. And it's supposed to be kind of like she feels all great about this. And I'm just sitting there like, no woman in her right mind would like that. I'm sorry. You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Where does he put his gold mask?
In her on him. When
I don't remember the spicy scene. I only remember
because they have sex. I can say that. They have sex.
I mean,
sex. We say other things,
The
so
only spicy scene I
absolutely.
remember is him pinning her against the wall and like going "Rawr" in her ear.
He goes to her room.
Yeah, they have sex a couple times before.
No, I didn't think they did.
Yeah, you can
They
say
did.
sex. We talked about a whole
I
ass
thought they had
orgy
sex
last
after they-
podcast.
after
No,
she was
because I
Fae.
made it a point because I'm like, it would be
Ish.
so easy for me to read this and forget he has this stupid golden mask because you don't see it portrayed anywhere either when you like see him, and it's stuck. It's cursed onto his face, and he cannot get rid of it until certain
I
things
blocked
happen.
those books out until Cassian and
Yeah.
Nessie.
And
Silver
I'm
Flames.
just sitting here, and they're talking about how like joyous this experience is for them, and from
you're
this
thinking of the
woman's
metal biting into her. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Yeah, like,
like
what
how
was-
uncomfortable
like,
that has to be.
Yeah.
like that would
Yeah.
not be enjoyable for anybody, and I don't believe it.
It's like when you
Even
like
for
clip.
fantasy.
That's like when you clip your bike helmet and it
Yeah,
clips your chin a little bit.
Patience.
Yeah, those are my three strongest
Okay. I
qualms.
love that. That's how you.
Just nips the
With
skin a little bit.
A Court of
Not
Thorns
a
and
fan.
Roses. And had it not been for the lovely Jennifer and Cassie telling me, please pay your tax and finish this book, it gets better.
I like that phrase, that pay your tax. 100% if you have not read the ACOTAR series and
I'm
you are
just gonna be-
determined
I
to
don't
do
know.
it, just pay your tax.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I read this now with the mindset that I had that I was not going to finish shitty books, I would not have finished the ACOTAR series if I was
And
me
you would have
a year
missed
ago.
Nesta and
And I
Cassie.
would have.
And imagine how you
but
would
that's
feel.
the same thing with some of these non-negotiables. I'm not finishing Crooked Kingdom. That's the second one in the Six of Crows. And I might miss the best thing that's ever lived. I'm just so tired of these authors thinking that we need 300 pages to get to a good fucking book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here,
Give me a good book from page one.
Yep.
Now, I will say, I read for 9 hours straight the second one.
Did you like that?
Mind
Okay.
you, I was very sick, so I had several days to do nothing but sleep and read.
Did you rate that one higher?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one's
I
definitely
want to
a
point
4.
out that her reviews on Goodreads, the first one for Court of Thorns and Roses says, and the one for
that all
the
it says?
second one,
Akamath.
Akamath, says getting better.
So can I have one
With
more
heart
question?
eye emoji.
Is that your only review? That's the
Yes.
only thing you said?
Well, look, so
One says,
when I had to update so that I could know how many books I've actually read,
Yeah.
10 minutes before we filmed this, that was when I put that out there.
I have one more
That's
question because I'm very curious because I did not. I don't know if you did. I don't think we ever talked about it. Did you guess the riddle?
Oh, no. I
Okay.
gave up after
Whose
Favorite
riddle?
couldn't figure it out. She was like, I'm not even going to worry about it.
Amarethas or
Oh,
whatever the-
Amaranthas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
however the fuck you say
Yeah.
her name.
I don't know.
I did
She's
not
a
guess the riddle,
Oh,
and
you
it,
didn't figure it out
oh,
with your big brain?
I don't think I was paying attention. I was probably so checked out.
Well, look, so literally in this riddle solving equation that you have to do, the main character gave up. I was just like, I can't figure it out. I'm too
but
stupid.
then she guesses in the end, makes the whole. No, just
Yeah. It's
I can go into a whole conversation about favorite. 'cause she pisses me
anticlimactic.
off.
I think that they could have done, I will say this for kind of circling back to our conversation for the Reese versus Tamlin fandom or whatever. I will say that in those scenes where, your riddle is played out, Reese did the only thing that somebody should be doing for someone who has just risked their entire life to save all of basically Fae kind in a sense. He was the only one that had the proper reaction. And for that,
Yeah.
I will side with him. And I hope that his mate dies and he can find a new one.
The only other thing I'm going to point out that I remember now is Sarah J. Maas definitely stole a line from Howl's Moving Castle, which is everyone's favorite line in there.
Mhm.
It's there you are. I've been looking for you. But literally Hal says that to Sophie in Howl's Moving Castle. And that's where it started first, ladies and gents, with the real bad boy.
She's passionate about this, guys.
I
Love me some Howl's Moving
I
Castle.
love Howl's
I
Moving
have
Castle.
read that was like inspired by it. So I kind of knew that was like coming in there and what have you. But overall the series, I mean, I can't put it down now. So, I mean, we've gotten much better. A Court of Mist and Fury, I did really enjoy. I put myself in my own little bubble world and had like mood lighting and my little ambient music. And I was just like, I was in the City of Starlight and it was great.
Yes, I love that part of it, and I think that was a really
Yep.
good one. Do you think that you're going to continue with Sarah J. Maas because she has 2 other series?
We'll see.
Interesting.
I'm gonna finish it and then this whole little journey, and then I will see.
Holly, do you think you're going to read Sarah J. Maas?
No.
I love how confident you are.
Oh, see, here's the thing about me is I don't like to be left out. I like to be.
You got FOMO? I know a lot of people who have
Yes,
it.
I like to be in the middle of everything. I like to be around all the exciting and the entertainment, and I like to be a part of the conversation. But I just know that I probably won't like it, especially if the first book is the worst one. And
Look, that's what I'm saying though. Like I can
It's
bookmark
not the
this
worst one.
to where
well, then yeah.
if
I
you
just,
read
I
the
just,
end,
I
it's
just,
going to be right up your alley. First of all,
Yeah,
the
but-
end of this, and then you don't need any of the prior backstory.
But
really,
if I do something,
It'll
I
come
want to
in
do
there.
it all the way, and I'm afraid that I'm going to give it a bad rating just because it's fantasy.
I will say Elizabeth Evans is the one that narrates them if you listen to it audio, and she is fantastic.
If I do fantasy books, I have to do audio.
And they
For
also
sure,
have a
100%.
dramatized audio. So everyone has a different voice and it's dramatized. So it's like a movie for your ears.
Okay, maybe once I hit my reading goal, I'll
Then
do
you'll
it.
dabble.
Because then I've got everything out of the way.
You might lose
And I
all your
really-
momentum.
Right, exactly. I
Cassie
don't
will
want to get
disagree with me,
slumpy.
but Fourth Wing is a better fantasy first book.
Oh, I'm not saying that Fourth Wing's not better than that. I don't disagree with that. I just don't think
disagree with
Fourth
that
Wing's
either.
all that great either. So
I think Fourth Wing is a lot better than Actar.
Yeah,
The
I don't
first
disagree with
book
that.
in
Yes.
Actar, because after that it really builds and
Yes.
it really gets fantastic. So, but that's Sarah J. Maas for you.
Well, that's everything I think for us
Yes.
today. So we're going to wrap up episode 5 and we'll see you guys back in 2 weeks for episode 6, where we're going to talk about some icky book things and a spicy little St. Patty's Day novella.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Bye,
Look at the
guys.
Irish.
Goodbye.
Bye.